We are back on Hawks franchise today, and I have made the decision, due to quite a lot of support in the comments, to not trade away DeJounte Murray. And a lot of people seem to be big fans of DeJounte Murray. So I said at the beginning of the series, I'm not going to trade him away if I don't feel like I have to. I liked the potential trade of bringing in Brandon Ingram, but after watching the play-in game last night with real-life Brandon Ingram, he was just sitting on the bench for like the final, 5 minutes of the game. Even though in this world, which this is the world we are living in, the Pelicans are currently 17th overall in the league. They're 2 games below 500. And Brandon Ingram did get selected for an All-Star game as well. I looked at the All-Star rosters in the league tab, if I can figure out how to get there, and he was a Western Conference reserve. So he's averaging 23 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. So we could definitely use, like I said, a scoring wing, but I'm going to opt to not make that trade for the sake of a lot of people wanting to keep him, and in the offseason, maybe, if things don't go well, we will decide to maybe move somebody then. But for now, we'll keep him. We'll rock out with both of the guards. There is a team, however, that I am considering making a trade with, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, what do we know the Oklahoma City Thunder need? They are currently 3 games above the number 1 team out east. They are 5 games above the 2nd team in the west, and we know that they lack big man depth. And what do we happen to have? We happen to have an aging $21 million per year contract in Clint Capella for 2 years. We could potentially throw him to a trade to the OKC Thunder. And again, in real life, OKC has a ton of first-round picks. In this world we're resetting, everyone has their own picks, so nobody has an advantage. And because the CPU can't make trades, unfortunately, right now, because there's going to be an update, the 1.07 update, I'm sure is going to have CPU trading, which will be amazing. You'll see a lot of different teams, teams that are buying, teams that are selling, and whatnot. But for now, we are definitely considering making a trade with OKC. We know that they're in a win-now mode. Big man depth is probably the only thing they're lacking, and we look at the rest of their team. Somebody said Josh Giddey's innocent. I don't know what the situation with him is currently at. If he did, do what he did, bad guy, not a good guy. But if he didn't, there's a chance he might not have. And, he's kind of not playing very many significant minutes. He's only averaging 4 minutes a night for the Thunder. They have Cason Wallace as well. It would definitely free up some minutes for their younger players. And if they don't see Josh Giddey's offense developing, we could definitely use him as a, play the forward, play the guard spot for us off the bench. And again, Clint Capella, while he doesn't have as much value in real life, in the game currently he's averaging 12 points, which is pretty solid for him, almost 9 rebounds a game. He's got almost 2 blocks per game and an assist. So I think in order to move off of some salary cap, we don't make a big trade, but I think we throw Clint Capella to the Thunder. We'll probably snag Josh Giddey, and we'll see if we can get a first-round pick. Is that realistic? Well, let's see. They're probably not valuing Josh Giddey very high. They're probably willing to trade draft capital because they're in a win-now mode. If we don't take their draft pick this year, we take their draft pick next year. Do we even make this trade straight up? I mean, he's got more potential overall at a position that we don't really need. Bruno Fernando is a fine backup center for us. Onyeka Okongwu, he can really see throughout the rest of the season if he's going to be our starter moving forward. If not, we bring in maybe somebody like Nick Claxton, who I know is going to be a free agent coming up. But I think Josh Giddey for Clint Capella, it gives them the chance to move off and get minutes to guards that they want to value more, like, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe. We get to, bring in a guard and that we kind of do need, because Kobe Buffkin is slotted in at the backup lead ball handler position. We could have Josh Giddey play that, but Josh Giddey has enough size where he could play small forward for us. He could play, shooting guard. 2 years we give up our second in exchange for their first. Not this year, but next year. Okay, I like this trade. Hopefully you guys don't hate it. I think it makes sense for both teams. We could definitely use a young developing piece, and we get more draft capital. And Clint Capella, he's not going to be in our long-term future. I don't like to interject for them, even though when you make a trade, it actually allows you to change some things. I'm going to give Clint Capella more minutes for them. Take away Ousmane Dieng's, and that's it. So there we go. That's how I'm going to have it set up. We get Josh Giddey, who gets slotted in and reset our entire lineup. With Trae Young being out for a few games, it makes sense. I don't think Josh Giddey will sneak into the starting lineup, but he could potentially play the 2 for us while we're trying to hash everything out. Let's just simulate the All-Star game. Trae Young will end up coming back one more game earlier as the West defeat the East by 1 point. Kevin Durant in his year 35 season, All-Star MVP. So now we move on. We play the Clippers, who are 10 games above us in the standings. Trae Young is still out for 2 games, so we need to set the lineup for 2 games, and then we will probably just simulate those 2, and then we'll probably really be able to hash things in for the rest of the season. So DeJounte is going to get the bulk of the minutes at the 1 spot. Bogey's in the starting lineup. Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu. And then in order of minutes, it's pretty evenly split, but AJ Griffin being the 6th man, Bruno Fernando gonna have quite a bigger role at this point as like the true backup big man. Josh Giddey getting a lot of minutes at the small forward spot, just utilizing his size. And then Kobe Buffkin leading the charge for the second team. And then Garrison Matthews going to get a couple minutes. It's not great, but this is how it's going to be rocking for the next 2 games. Taking on the Clippers, we lose by 21. DeJounte, 22 points. Not great, but Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu both have double-doubles. And Kawhi Leonard pops off. Zubac, 17 rebounds. We're going to definitely be lacking a presence in the paint. Clint Capella was pretty solid for us, but we're not really in that position. I also think we have to really evaluate where we're at in the East. There's a lot of contending teams. It's not that I'm trying to tank by any means, but you know, we're a 500 team. You know, that's just how it is. We take on the Pacers. We end up beating them by 9 points, and now Trae Young is back, and just in time for a very dominant team out East. Trae Young, torn abs, back in the starting lineup. So we're going to have to adjust the lineup again now. All I really did was just move Trae Young back in the starting lineup. It's your usual suspects in the starting 5, and then the minutes pretty well split up. I kind of do feel bad for Kobe Buffkin. His production is going to be limited with Josh Giddey being there. But again, we've got one too many wings, and I feel like Josh Giddey, he's going to provide more of an overall ceiling for us that I feel like we just didn't have, you know, even with Kobe Buffkin, who I am pretty high on, as we're going to upgrade Jalen Johnson's defense. He's damn near maxed out at this point. If we sort by rating, he is our 2nd best player behind Trae Young. He just jumped DeJounte Murray. So now we take on the Knicks. Dominant win. Trae Young back in the starting lineup, puts up 21 assists. It is a league high. We move on to the Celtics, who are the best team in the East, and we lose to them. DeJounte Murray had 40 points, which he seemed to dominate in real life against the Celtics as well. Now we take on the Brooklyn Nets. Hopefully we can just take care of business. We don't. We lose by 14 points. Sadiq Bey definitely providing some issues for us as we lose to the fucking Pistons now. Dominant win. Now we're talking 22 assists for Trae Young. He's back in the swing of things, man. He is just back at it, doesn't care. Take on the Celtics again. We lose again. So that's just the team. We just cannot seem to beat the upper echelon of teams out East. We take on the Celtics in a back-to-back. We lose every game against the Celtics. I mean, I understand Josh Giddey starting for us at small forward. Hopefully he gives us at least some more just versatility on defense, the length. I don't really know. We're taking on the Pelicans now. We get destroyed by 19. Brandon Ingram. You guys didn't want him. You guys didn't want him. He drops 35 on us. Josh Giddey in his first start, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. It's going to take some time. We take on the Bulls. We lose to them. It is what it is. Trae Young, solid overall. Who had 4 points in the starting lineup? Josh Giddey. Okay. Was this a mistake? 4 points again. I'm going to give him one more try to maybe get some points. I know he's like a 4th or 5th scoring option on this team, and if he's in the starting lineup, take on the Heat. Lose again. How bad is this? 9 points for him. I know his offensive game is not developed, but what are we talking about? AJ Griffin gets an upgrade. Ooh, we're gonna upgrade his 3-pointer, his passing. I think we could probably develop Josh Giddey on the bench now. We don't need to have him starting anymore. Although, you know what? If we're just gonna start rotating stuff before the playoffs, why don't we throw AJ Griffin in there? Why don't we throw his hat in the mix, huh? Because I feel like he's someone that I'm definitely interested in developing. Give him 14 minutes a night. Giddey can still end up developing on the bench. He doesn't need to be ruining our spacing. Take on the Cavs. We lose by 4. Are we in an absolute slump right now? What is happening? How many games have we lost in a row? Holy shit. What is going on with this team right now? We went 1-5. That one win coming against Orlando. That was actually 1-10, 2-12, 3-15, 4-19, 5-20, and then it's like 5-27. I don't even know. This is awful. This is like the worst slipping I've ever seen. We're 7 games below 500. When did this happen? I feel like we've just been simulating. I guess we just keep losing. We take on the Cavs again. I don't know what to tell you. We're just getting our ass kicked. Was Clint Capella really holding it down like that? Was Clint Capella really like that? Did we throw Bruno Fernando in the starting lineup? I mean, what do we even... Onyeka Okongwu has an upgrade. I guess we'll upgrade his passing. We don't really have a choice. We'll upgrade his blocking, get the rim protection up, the 3-pointer. What are his stats right now? He's averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds, and a block a night on 12 minutes. Okay, Bruno Fernando come in the starting lineup and help this team. AJ Griffin seems to be playing pretty well in the starting role. I'm curious what his stats were in the last game. He had 12 points. Onyeka Okongwu, clearly a mistake. Take on the defending champion Nuggets. We lose by 10. Trae Young seems to be taking care of business. I don't really feel like hopping in any of these games because I just feel like, okay, now we finally stopped the bleeding. I was gonna say, I just feel like this team needs to show me what it can do on its own without me intervening. We only have a few games left. We probably will end up making the play-in at this point. We've definitely fallen behind the schedule as far as the teams in the actual in the conferences. If we look at the East as a whole, we are sitting at 9th. And it's tight, too. We're 2 games between the 11th seed. There's a huge gap between the 7th seed and up. So we got to make sure we win out in these tough games in the East. Quick sim this one. We lose to the Bucks. What does Josh Giddey's stats look like right now? 9 minutes a night, 6 points. Did he just ruin everything? Did trading for him just literally ruin everything? I don't think this team would have really been able to do much in the playoffs, but Clint Capella clearly was holding the fort down. I guess I underestimated his abilities as we get a huge 1-point win against Minnesota. We needed that because we are falling out of the play-in at this point. The Wizards, we have to sweep the bad teams. Oh my God. We scored 82 points. Marvin Bagley dominated the paint against us. DeJounte Murray. You guys wanted to keep DeJounte Murray. Here's his stat line in crunch time. 7 points. Fucking 4 rebounds, 2 assists. What happened in this matchup? Pistons are beating us by 11. This is the team you guys wanted. I know I haven't hopped in any of these games. I don't want to. I want to continue to play them out. Take on the Bulls. We end up winning this one. We'll throw Saddiq Bey back into the starting lineup. AJ Griffin's minutes gonna be just shortened quite a bit. Bogey has not really been utilized very much in this entire franchise, but I don't know. He has kind of a redundant skill set with a lot of our other players. There is just no stopping this bleeding. This is probably the worst fall apart in NBA history. We're going to the play-in. I don't even know if we qualify for the play-in. We are in the play-in against the Charlotte Hornets. I know I blitzed through a lot of those games. Come on. I mean, we are already at this point in real life. It's time to actually get into the development aspect of this team. Was this team going to win a championship? Absolutely not. Could we have definitely made a run? We still can. We got to win out. We got to win out against Charlotte. You know, we got to take care of business. Right now, team overall, we'll go through the stats in this episode too. Going to be Trae Young, starting 77 games, 28 points even, 4 rebounds, and basically 12 assists with a steal per night. Very solid stuff from our number 1 player on the team. DeJounte Murray, 20 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists with a steal per night. We knew that. I mean, that's basically what he gets. That's his MO. Saddiq Bey, in a relatively limited role, pretty efficient overall, only shooting 35% from 3, 13 points, 4 rebounds, half an assist. The playmaking's not there. You know, Brandon Ingram was averaging 6 assists per game, whatever. Jalen Johnson, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a block per night. Onyeka Okongwu, 8 points, 5 rebounds, not even a block per night. And before I blitz past Jalen Johnson's stat line, very solid overall. He's 21 years old. We've got him under contract for this year and the next year, so we'll definitely be giving him a giant contract. We have him, I think we have a team option on him because he's still under his rookie deal. So he's somebody that we're happy to build around. 17 points in his sophomore season is crazy, honestly. Bruno Fernando kind of got some more minutes, got a little bit more involved as the season kind of started to come to an end. Wasn't great, really wasn't. Again, we just acquired Josh Giddey in this episode. For the Hawks, though, he definitely, he played double the amount of minutes, damn near. His efficiency was a lot worse. He went from averaging 4 points to 7 points with double the minutes, 3 rebounds per game. He's using the size. He's playing at small forward. Bogey, not a very good role considering his contract, and we're going to have to move off of that. 10 points barely, not even 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. AJ Griffin in his first year is his second year. He's not a rookie yet. This is his second year. Wait, does this mean that Jalen Johnson's in his third year technically? Because you have a rookie, then a year pro. Yeah, whatever. So I guess that's in his third year. AJ Griffin in his second year, 9 minutes per game, 8 points, 2 rebounds, not really any playmaking. And then Kobe Buffkin, very limited role. We're going to have to get him involved a lot more. Kind of wanted to do that in the beginning of the season. I felt like I did. And then, acquiring Josh Giddey ruined everything for us. Somehow PJ Tucker played 15 games. Don't remember that ever happening. Oh, that was for the Lakers. I was going to say. Definitely wasn't for our team. Garrison Matthews, whatever. So that's the team overall. Here were the minutes as far as here are the minutes because we're not done yet. We have the play-in still. What are we going to do? I think we need to have Bogey playing more minutes, considering the fact that he's a definitely a solid vet. And we'll probably just go a little bit more starter focused as well. We'll probably take another minute away from AJ Griffin, unfortunately, and give it to DeJounte Murray. So that is what we're going to be doing for the play-in. We are the 10th seed overall. I will say on the bright side, regardless of whether we win or lose this game, I'm not going to be upset if we don't win. However, I would like to have playoff experience. Not only would it give our players more development, just because it's more games as a whole, but it would maybe teach this team a little bit about what it's like to be a competent franchise, as we are about 15 points behind in the third quarter. It doesn't look very good for us. This is your Hawks season in a whole. We did simulate through a lot of games. We didn't hop into a single one. This is what the true team was. DeJounte Murray, your guys' king, 9 points in the play-in games. I mean, clearly we just wanted to move on to the end of the season, I suppose, as the Heat beat the Raptors, Dallas beats the Timberwolves, Pelicans beat Sacramento, and now who's going to make the rest of the playoffs? The Charlotte Hornets don't, and the Timberwolves fall out to the New Orleans Pelicans. Moving on to the awards, Victor Wembanyama, 21 and 10 with 2.5 blocks per game, is your Rookie of the Year. Malcolm Brogdon, 6-man. SGA leads the league in scoring with 32 points per game. Rebounding champ goes to Anthony Davis. Tyrese Halliburton notches out Trae Young by 0.1 assists for the lead in the league. SGA, 2 steals per game. Rudy Gobert leads the league in blocks. SGA wins Clutch Player of the Year. Wemby in his rookie year wins DPOY, and SGA, of the number 1 team in the entire NBA, wins MVP on 32.7, 6 and 7 with 2 steals. That is the overall season. We will probably just get through the rest of the playoffs. That'll be it for this episode. Let me know also in the comments if you guys prefer the longer episodes, longer being like 30 plus minutes, or if you prefer 20 minutes. Portland wins 17 games on the year. The Jazz are in the 13th spot out west. Golden State falls out. They don't make the playoffs. San Antonio and the Rockets as well. And then teams in the East that missed out on the playoffs, the Bulls, the Pistons, the Nets, the Magic were really bad, probably a lot worse than you'd expect them to be considering their overall talent. And then the Wizards somehow won 25. So the worst team by far was the Portland Trailblazers, with Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton. They're starting all 3 of those guards that probably they could stand to definitely move off of one of them. But we got to worry about our guard situation because, again, bringing in Josh Giddey, I thought was going to be a good move as far as development. He is not really doing that so far. He kind of tanked our entire team. But our team was landsliding before. So if you guys in the comments want to say that bringing in Josh Giddey and trading Clint Capella was the reason that we didn't even make the playoffs, there's definitely some credibility to that, as the OKC Thunder were the only team as well to win 60 games. But I think this team was falling apart well before, as I showed you before the All-Star break. It just so happened to be exemplified after getting rid of Clint Capella. We made good moves, I think. We have 33 mil in cap room. I don't know how to see my draft picks, but I know we have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 or 3 next year. And I'm working on a 2025, draft class with Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey and stuff. And I think that draft will definitely be much better. And having ammunition in that draft is going to be really nice for us. So in round 1, OKC beats New Orleans in 5. Memphis beats the Lakers in 6. Denver gentlemen sweeps the Suns. And Dallas loses to the Clippers in 5. And then out east, Miami gets swept by Milwaukee. Cleveland gentlemen sweeps the Knicks. The Pacers take the 76ers to 6 and move on. And then Toronto steals a game from Boston. So your Eastern Conference and Western Conference semifinals, it's going to be Thunder and Memphis, Clippers and Denver, Milwaukee and Cleveland, Boston and Indiana. So nobody that you'd really not expect to see. And in round 2, Boston beats Indiana in 6. Cleveland notches out Milwaukee in 7. Denver ends up beating the Clippers in 7, and Memphis beats the OKC Thunder in 7 as well. So a lot of close matchups. It's going to be Denver and Memphis, the 3 and the 4, versus Boston and Cleveland. And was that 173 points? What the fuck happened here? Denver, what is going on? Jaren Jackson Jr., 36 points. Ja Morant, 45. I mean, we're playing on +3 pacing as Boston sweeps Cleveland. 3-2 series for Memphis now. 4-2 for Memphis. It's going to be Boston versus Memphis. A healthy Ja Morant. Game 1 goes to Memphis. Game 2 goes to Boston. Game 3 goes to Boston. Game 4 goes to Boston. It's a 3-1 lead, and Boston wins it in 5 games. They are your 2024 NBA champions with Jason Tatum, 23, basically 9 and 6 assists with a steal and block per night. He is your finals MVP, and Boston finally gets over the hump. All of the free agent and trade acquisitions pay off. Again, I need to work on the rest of the next draft class, so I'm not going to move on in the next season, but in the next episode, it's going to be huge. It's going to have the offseason. It's going to have the draft. You guys are going to have to definitely, take part in what you think we should do moving forward. The team that is mid right now that I told you at the beginning of the series, I'm refusing to be mid. I'm going to make trades. We cannot refuse to tank in order to be better overall. So that is this season for season 1. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. Who should I sign? Who should come back? We look at the expiring contracts. Do we bring Saddiq Bey back? We're getting him for $4 million. He started, 50 games for us, and he played damn near all of them. So let me know in the comments what you think I should do. That is going to be it for me. I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.